now.
Welcome back to Between the Takes. I'm here with Riley Lauren. Riley, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me
and being entertaining and having fun and just playing some great songs.
Thanks.
It was you and one other. Do you want to mention them real quick?
Yeah, Sean Gallagher, my lovely accompanist. He helps me write a lot of my music because I can't play guitar like that. He's crazy good at guitar, but yeah, he's behind the camera working on his other projects, and we'll talk about my solo project.
Yes. But shout out to Sean.
Yeah.
Bro, the writing
out.
you did, the guitars sound amazing on all of these pieces. I'm excited to hear the actual produced versions. The acoustic versions themselves sound killer with the acoustic, but I want to hear the rest. But yeah, props to you. The 3 songs, what were the names of the songs again?
So it was Warm for a While, Down, and One More.
And One More. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great songs. Great list of songs. Are any of these out yet? I think by the time this is coming out, we said that one of them will be out.
Yes.
Which one?
So Warm for a While should be out now, and I'm really excited about it. I wrote it over 2 years ago, so it's about time that she's finally out in the world. But yeah, that should be coming out in early April. So it should be already out.
That should be already out. And do you have any release ideas of when the other 2 will be joining it?
Certainly not. No, the plan is every 2 or 3 months to release a new one.
That's a good strategy, just keeping yourself regular, but giving yourself time to push that one song for a little bit.
Exactly. We got to let her have her moment.
Have a shining moment. Because at this point in social media, I feel like a lot of people have hit the point where musicians and artists and listeners don't want albums anymore. They want singles. They want one good song, and they don't care about the rest.
Yeah. It's very weird how the times have shifted in that way.
Yeah.
But
it used to be so album and project driven, and now it's give me the one good song and then go back in the studio for a couple months.
Or like a 3-song EP, if that.
They like the thematics of it, but they don't have the attention span for it.
Exactly. I can't blame. I'm right in that boat as well. So
doom scrolling.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but with those 3 songs, I know we talked a little bit like just joking on the side about the meanings of them, but did any of them have like a really special meaning that you kind of wanted to portray or explain? Because I know a lot of people will listen to the songs, get their own meaning, but it's also fun to hear what the artist had in mind.
Of course, yeah. I think that that's like something I strive for in my music, is to have the lyrics be like overall relatable on the surface, but then if you kind of dig a little deeper, you'll find the deeper meanings. But Warm for a While, which should already be out and listenable, that one I wrote after a relationship ended that I was in for 2 years. I think we were together, so it was a pretty like serious like long-term relationship, and it was always just such a beautiful, loving relationship. And the only reason that it ended was because we just drifted apart and changed as people, but there was never the lack of love and respect. So I had a really hard time in that breakup because it wasn't like I was, devastated and angry and, like so mad at this person for doing me wrong, because he never did anything wrong. So I was like, let me write a song about the bittersweet, like mutual end of a relationship, and just like always caring for and respecting that person, but just knowing that it's time. So that's what that one's about.
That's a good message too, because there's so many songs and so many artists out there working on songs that are just heavy breakup, like I hate you, I want nothing to do with you, or I miss you so much. Right. Having that in between space like helps listeners, younger listeners, people who are just still growing in their own emotional maturity, helps them remember that it doesn't have to be an extreme one way or the other. There can just be this middle ground of loss, but knowing it had to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that one. And then I really like the meaning behind the song Down. I think it's a little tough to explain, so I'll do my best, but you'll definitely get it once you listen back to the lyrics. But that one is actually about the same person as Warm for a While, but instead of being about him, it's about, how do I word this? It's about him holding the memory of who I was as a person when I was with him, if that makes sense. So sometimes I started to feel like I was a better version of myself in that relationship. And I kind of got like, you know, like wanting to be like, please hold on to the memory of that person. Because that's, you know, when our relationship ended, like, he doesn't know who I am now. And I think that's kind of special to have that like immortalized version of yourself in someone's memory, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Remember who I was.
Yeah.
Don't look to know who I am right now.
And like, of course, I'm always growing and improving in certain ways, but there's definitely also ways that I prefer the old me. And so that song is pretty sad, but it's also kind of not hopeful, but also probably bittersweet, I guess is a good word for it, of just like, you know, knowing that that version of me still exists in someone's memory and having that to hold on to and like inspire me now, if that makes sense.
Because it's knowing that you can be there.
Yeah.
But you're not necessarily there right now.
Yeah. So the lyrics and like the verses and stuff kind of just go through like the little differences about me like on the surface and then deeper than the surface. So I talk about like the one lyric in the second verse is, did you know that my hair's a different shade now? And then the next line is, did you know I'm losing it every day now? So it's kind of like a double meaning of like losing my hair because I'm so stressed out and like losing my mind kind of thing. So.
I did notice that one. That was one lyric that like kept sticking out to me, and I'm just like, ooh,
Thanks.
ooh, it's hitting. So take a chance if you need to pause this, go listen to Down, and then come back and listen through it, knowing that you got the message of it, and you can kind of understand it a little bit better. Yeah.
So in the chorus, just saying, it's more of a message to my ex-partner, just saying like, the lyrics are, don't want to let you down, don't want to let her drown. So talking to him saying like, I don't want to become a worse version of myself, and I don't want to let the past version of myself disappear, kind of thing. So that's that one, I would
Heavy.
say. Yeah, it's a little dark. A lot of my music is dark.
It's just heavy.
Yeah.
It just sits.
It does sit. It has a weird way of sitting, doesn't it?
That's good, though. It's always good.
Yeah.
Any expression of emotions like that, especially emotions that sound like they're being dealt with in a healthy way, are great in a song. Because you don't want to just push people to do the unhealthy mental way of doing it.
Right.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Yeah, so the first song coming out is going to be out already. All about promoting that, and hopefully this will get people excited for the next two coming out, and even looking back at the old one. Do you have any specific ways that you're going to be trying to promote it that maybe people can be looking for?
I'm definitely just constantly posting on TikTok and Instagram, just trying to reach new people. But outside of that, nothing super big. Definitely like keep posted with my Instagram. I'll have like original shows posted there as I get them. And I'm really excited to play these songs live and start sharing them that way. But yeah, no like super big projects on the books right now for these specifically, except for just like promo shoots and, you know, all the normal behind the scenes stuff of rolling out a song and everything that comes with that. But
I was gonna say, how long have you been doing music? Because it seems like you have not a huge following, but a decent following for someone in Philly, especially as a solo artist.
Thanks. So I've only been doing music for 2 years. Before that, I studied math in college, then decided I'm way too much of a creative person to sit at a desk all day, even though I love math, shout out math. But I was like, what am I doing? And then right after the pandemic, when stores started opening back up again, I started doing styling and personal shopping for people. So that I made like a whole brand around that. And then that like blew up. So probably I have some followers, residual followers from that, which is really cool, because I like to incorporate a lot of the styling stuff in what I do with music, like styling shoots and, you know, making sure that all the visuals reflect the music is like super important to me. And I learned a lot of all of that stuff through styling and being in the fashion world. But yeah, then I decided that wasn't the right path for me, and I pivoted super sharply 180 to music 2 years ago.
Okay. Are you still doing that personal shopping? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that it definitely can tell that there's lessons you learn in that, because as much as music is just such an audible thing, like you listen to it, the visualizations can help so much, because humans are very visual. As much as we are listening to things, we like what we look at.
Right.
And even just something as simple as like what you're wearing right now, it's very neutral colors that can go with any colors and any theme that we feel like putting into the song. And it seemed like you knew exactly what we were thinking whenever I would ask, like, what color do you think of when you think of this song? And we started putting out colors to match that, even just matching the colors that are out now with the cover art for Warm for a While. The combinations and just the interwoven aspect of colors like that can do a lot with the recognition people have across platforms, being like, oh, this is Riley. Oh, this is like still matching with everything I know of her.
Yeah. And I'm definitely super excited to dive more into that world with my original project, because I've been doing music for 2 years, but I've only been in the cover scene for a year and a half of that. So I just started working on original, like I just played my first original show in October a couple months ago. So I'm like just starting to dip my toe into like everything that you can do with all of the visuals and the styling and the like putting together shoots, and like being the creative director and the subject is like really a cool experience. So I've been loving that, and I'm excited to release all of these other songs, because then I have an excuse to do more shoots and curate my Instagram.
Yeah.
It sounds so silly, but it's so crucial. Like when you go to follow an artist, like you might love their songs, but you might not click follow on their Instagram if it looks like crap. You know what I mean? Like, at least that happens to me. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to see your content because it looks like crap.
As superficial as that is, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because that's what the platform is for at the end of the day, is like curating this content and putting it all on your profile. And I like to make it cohesive, and I like to make it fit my vision.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like hard to do. I don't think it's like necessary that people curate their Instagram feed, but it just helps so much, in my opinion.
It does help a lot. And I don't think you kind of just want people to follow you because they like the content. And if they don't follow you, it's not because of the quality, it's because it's just not the content they want.
Yeah. Not their cup of tea. But yeah.
That's cool. What was it that really got you wanting to start doing your own original music? I know you said you were studying math in college, and you were trying to, or you decided to do a 180 and go more into the creative realms. But is that something you've just always been interested in?
Definitely. I've always been the type of person where I have so many passions and I have a hard time picking one. So like from the time I could talk, I was singing. And my parents love to say that one time they took me when I was like literally not even 2 to a furniture store, and I turned to the employee and I started singing Landslide to them. And they were like, okay. So I've definitely been singing like my whole life. And growing up, my dad had a really nice baby grand piano in our living room, and it was just there, and it was always very like, they never forced me to take lessons, they never forced me into anything, so it was just a very natural progression for me to just love music and then start learning piano and teach myself how to sing. And then when I went to school, I naturally joined the theater department, and I was a big theater kid for all of middle and high school. And I definitely think that there's a lot of like influences. Like once you know that I was a theater kid, it makes sense like why my voice sounds this way and why my melodies are structured in certain ways, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so I was a theater kid for a long time, and that's where I really like learned how to sing. I was never taught how to sing, but you kind of just learn by being in that environment. And then after that, when I was studying math in college, I was still in like the a cappella groups and stuff like that. And I would kind of write my own stuff on the side here and there, just if inspiration struck. But it was never like, ooh, I'm going to release all these songs and like I have a whole catalog of like lyrics that I'm going to use or whatever. Like I hear a lot of artists be like, I have this whole backlog of songs, and I'm like, oh, like I just kind of write them as they naturally come, and then work on releasing them for 2 years. But no, I definitely have a decent amount of songs on the horizon, but it's taken a while to get there, I guess, because I've just had so many different avenues of not only singing and performing that weren't related to original music, but also just other passions in general that took the forefront sometimes.
With the singing and performing, or even just the passions, did you feel like it was difficult to find a way to, I guess, support yourself while working on trying to do your own music? Because that's something every artist has to do, and some never stop having to do that. You can have the music that is your main passion and your main goal, and that's where you find your identity, but you have to do these other things to be able to do that.
Yeah. So right now my like more full-time income is split between I'm in a wedding band, and then I do like duo and solo cover gigs all around town. So that's definitely where I actually make money. And then when I'm singing my original songs, thus far, it's not really paying me well because I just, put my foot in the door. So I don't expect to like be making a ton of money on my original stuff, but that would be so cool if that happens in the future.
It's the dream. It's every artist's dream.
But yeah, I think I'm at a good place with like not expecting it to like ever even be monetized. Like I'm truly just doing it for the passion, and I want to share my lyrics and my melodies and everything with people, and I don't care if I make a single dollar off of it because I've got my other stuff. I love doing cover gigs. I know a lot of musicians are like, I don't want to have to do cover gigs, but I love it.
That's honestly the mentality you need to have, because otherwise it's going to burn you out real quick, because you can be working on it for years before you really see headway as an artist. There's so many artists now who are huge that look like they blew up overnight, but you don't realize they've been doing it for 15 years.
Like Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Her videos of like Pink Pony Club from years and years ago, and now that song is massive. It's crazy.
I don't think I even realized how long that song has been around.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And sometimes it's not about necessarily writing the new song. It's taking the song that you know is good and just waiting for it to take off and like working on it and with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's wild. It's just like, excuse me. When I had my like styling business, I like blew that up on TikTok, and it took months and months of getting no views to then find that one video style that just got 1 million views off the bat, and then you keep posting stuff like that, and then you're set, you know? So I'm waiting for that to happen to me with the music stuff. But I've had a couple videos do decently well, but I'm waiting for it to be like, we're blowing up this video because we love your song. You know what I mean? It's always, it has to be something gimmicky that like takes away from the song in order for it to like go viral, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like trying to bridge that gap is really hard sometimes.
Yeah, because you want it to be for the music and not necessarily for the trend. But sometimes they can go hand in hand.
Yeah. So
that's fair.
I'll figure it out for sure.
Oh yeah, eventually. I think if anyone I've had on with social media will figure it out, it's probably you. Do you have any tips for recognizing like obviously you can tell when a video does better because the views are better, but do you have any tips on kind of shifting to find that style of video?
So in my experience, at least with music or with any type of content, it feels like unnatural at first, but you kind of want your captions to be like in someone else's shoes, if that makes sense. So like that's why the like POV, you did this, and like that's like a huge trend because it allows people to like feel like they are in the video. So if there's a way for like in your niche, whatever that may be, to make the caption, the text on the video be something where someone can put themselves in the video, and it's not just like, oh, I'm watching a musician and I'm, they're talking about their music. But if it's like POV, you learn this song and then you do it at a gig, like, you know what I mean? It's like wanting to put those people in your perspective, and like such subtle word changes like really make or break like a viral video. if that makes sense. And that's something that I'm still, I definitely had that locked down for like in the fashion industry, how to approach that, and like get my videos to get a bunch of views. But I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to do that for like my music and my style and, you know, whatever. Because it's easier with fashion to do the gimmicky stuff. And then with music, I'm like, I don't really want to be messing around when like the lyrics that are playing are like so important to me, you know? So it's hard to like try to feed into the silly trends while also like not sacrificing the integrity of your music.
Yeah, because especially with your songs, they're songs that are very emotional and very heavy versus all these songs and trends that are just happy poppy, like all over the place with their energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to figure out like, I don't know, how to not just depress people because people are just going to scroll unless they want to be depressed. But I don't know. It's tough. But I mean, artists like Lizzie McAlpine makes her whole living on depressing people. So
Oddly enough, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
like that's a huge inspiration for me too. So, you know.
Out of curiosity, you're mentioning people like Chappell Roan and Lizzie McAlpine. Where would you kind of like put yourself stylistically? Because I know with how you did these acoustic songs, you could go either direction. You could have a very Lizzie McAlpine sound, like very acoustic, very calm, natural. You could have a very Chappell Roan song where I could see your lyrics being put around like more pop music and more upbeat, or even on the verge of just like indie rock, but not like rock, but just like something calmer.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly where I would consider myself on the scale from Lizzie McAlpine to Chappell Roan. But I don't know. I just like to experiment. And I think there's definitely a difference between the songs that I like fully write myself, like Warm for a While. I wrote that song myself. And then the songs that I, you know, write a melody to, or I write a chorus, and then I take it to someone like Sean and have him help me write like a really cool guitar hook, stuff like that. Like then that kind of changes the vibe of the song, which is what happened with One More. That song, obviously Sean wrote that like intricate guitar part in the verses. Well, he wrote all of the guitar parts, but it was like you kind of piece it together where like I come to him with the melody in the chorus, and then he comes to me with the guitar in the verse, and then they kind of flip-flop, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that that's always super fun to just be able to branch out and have someone else's style influencing my own. But I think for my, like, if I were to just sit down at the piano and write a song, it would be more like Lizzie McAlpine, Sarah Bareilles vibe. I don't usually envision my songs with a ton of production and, you know, like a poppy sound in my head. It's usually like I grew up listening to like Air Supply and Billy Joel. So like there's definitely a lot of elements to those songs, but not necessarily pop how it is right now. Like Chappell Roan vibe. More on like the piano ballad vibe, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I didn't sing any piano ballads here, but I definitely have a lot of piano ballads up my sleeve. So that's like where I feel the most comfortable.
I like it.
Yeah.
Definitely got to check her songs out. Check the other two when they come out. Hopefully they will be coming out soon after this. But I mean, you said every 2 months ish, so we got to wait a little bit. If you just follow her, which she's going to tell you where to find her, you will be able to keep up with all of that.
That's so true. And you can find me on Instagram at Riley with 2 Ys Lauren, and on TikTok at Riley with 2 Ys .Lauren. And my YouTube should just be Riley Lauren, and same with my Spotify and Apple Music and all that good stuff.
Yeah. We're going to try and have links to all of that down in the description. If anything, I will link one place or a link tree that she has, whatever she uses. Make sure you find her, follow her, listen to her. Go in and study how she makes her videos. Maybe you can learn something on how to promote your own music as well. Riley, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Sean as well. I know you're behind the camera, but
Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can. Cool. cool. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Awesome. I'm glad. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions for Riley. Maybe she'll be able to answer you and give you some advice, or maybe just shoot her a message. Who knows? Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.
I'm glad we stayed warm for a while.